just for something to think about at the Seder, the four sons are always fascinating because that's what life is all about. The questions and the different types of people and different mentalities. And every year you can come up with new insights into these four types and four personalities. But the one that gets neglected the most is the one who doesn't know how to ask. We assume that it's a child or that he's not too bright and he doesn't know how to ask a question, so you kind of tolerate him. But really, if he doesn't know how to ask a question, how does he fit into the picture? The whole point is, ki yisholcha bincha, this is what you have to tell him. But if the kid is not asking a question, he doesn't fit into the whole picture. So yeah, you should have rachmanas on him, but it doesn't fit. It's a completely different topic, a completely different subject. What do you do with a kid who's not educable? Like what does that have to do with Yitzias Mitzrayim and answering questions? So we have to assume that there is a question there that needs to be answered, but he's not articulate about his question. So his presence is a question. He is a question. He doesn't know how to say it. So the way to understand it is, he's sitting there so indifferent that he can't come up with a question, because who cares? Do it, don't do it. What? The Rasha is bothered by the fact that you're putting so much energy into this, and he doesn't understand why. He doesn't care. You want to put energy, make energy. You're enjoying it, do it. You believe it, fine. So his question is not what are you doing and why are you doing. His question is, what's the difference? Which is like asking, having a teenager ask, what's so good about being good? And what's wrong with being wrong? So I'm wrong. What's the difference? It's such a fundamental question that there aren't even appropriate words for it. So teenagers who have a very big question, all they can say is, whatever. Do you hear the question? Like, that is such a powerful question. Yeah, whatever. Can you answer that question? It's almost like all the three sons care about something, rightly, wrongly, intelligently. The fourth son, the one who doesn't know how to ask, is like, why should I care? That's his question. But is it a question or is it just an attitude? So he doesn't know how to ask it, because why should he even ask? He doesn't care. So you can say, and it's been written, that the She'enei Yodea Lishvul is worse than the Rasha. In terms of being turned off, the Rasha is annoyed, but at least it still bothers him. This guy, he has no questions. He's tuned you out completely. So you want to make a Seder, go make a Seder, I don't care. So in terms of loss of commitment and loss of inspiration, he's worse than the Rasha. But another way of looking at it is that the questions from the Chacham to the Rasha to the Tam to the one who doesn't know how to ask, the question keeps getting more fundamental. If you don't know why there are three kinds of mitzvahs, so can't be a good Jew. So you have free time, let's talk about why there are three kinds of mitzvahs. It's not so fundamental. And if you never know why there are three, if you don't know why this avodah is so necessary, that's already fundamental. I mean, that if you don't know what's what, like what am I supposed to do? So the question keeps getting more basic, more earthy, more fundamental. The most fundamental question of all is, what do you care? So when you get to that question, like, I'm Jewish? So? That's why you have to turn it around and say, who's asking you to care? You didn't write the Ten Commandments. The Eibishter cares. It's not your concern, it's his concern. The question is, you want to do something for him, or? But to sit here and say, let's see, Shabbos? Nah, I don't need it. Kosher? Nah, I'm not into it. That's missing the whole point. You're fundamentally looking at it wrong. So from the perspective you have, you're right. Why should you care? It's not your problem. If everybody in the world ate today, so what? It's not your problem. So the question is, whose problem is it? So you have to introduce the fact that this is the Eibishter's need. You taka don't have needs. So if you have a free moment, can you help the Eibishter out? But don't be overwhelmed by the fact that you don't care. You don't care about the mitzvah. Of course not, it's not your mitzvah. But do you care about why you're here and why the Eibishter put you here? Do you care about why he created the world? Maybe if you consider that, maybe you'd come up with some interest. But when you're trying to make the mitzvah your need, of course you're going to fail. It's not your need. In fact, life itself is not your need. It's never meant to be. So when a kid says, I'm all turned off, I hated it because I didn't ask to be born. Of course not. Of course not. You're not the creator, you're the creation. So what you need to do is find out more about the creator, because it's not about you. And that's not bad news. That's just reality. So the She'enei Dea Lishel is really the biggest challenge of them all. There you got to come up with an answer. With the Chacham, you tell him, no, really all the mitzvahs are mishpatim. No, really all the mitzvahs are chukim. What's the difference? Like, either way, so you talk. The one who doesn't know how to ask, you better come up with a good answer.
And what's the answer?
The answer is, it is not your problem, it is not your issue, it's not your frumkeit, it's the Eibishter. It's not even your life. So stop looking in yourself to find the mitzvah. The mitzvah is not in you. The mitzvah is in the Eibishter. And you were created for a reason. Otherwise, you don't need to be here, you don't need mitzvahs, you don't need anything. You're right. But you're part of a big picture. It doesn't start with you. So the mistake is, if you look at yourself and say, well, what do I need? Right? You're already wrong. You're wrong, because you don't need anything. So you're going to ask yourself, what do I need? You're going to discover that you don't need, and you get all bummed out? Hey, I don't need anything. That's your starting point, not your conclusion. Of course, we don't need anything. We didn't ask to be born. We don't need to be born. But there's a shlichus. Are you available? Or are you too busy being bummed out? You're certainly not too busy with your needs, because you don't have any. So what's preoccupying you? You think you should have needs? So actually, the one who doesn't know what to ask, because he represents the most fundamental question, he's closest to the truth. So when you go from the Chacham to the Einei Dea Lishel, you're going up the ladder, not down.